What's a sex fact that most people don't know? Story 1. I read a post here years ago with a lot of people, a lot of women, saying that they can't have an orgasm if they are cold. So quite a lot of them wear socks during, which improves their comfort and therefore their ability to reach orgasm. I forgot all about it until I read this post, but as someone who does tend to get cold, I might try that. Story 2. If you stick it in the butt and pull out too fast, it can create a vacuum. What happens next is pretty shit. Story 3. Cold water helps clean up sperm better than warm or hot water. Can help with period cramps. Also, uterus cramps, similar to period cramps, are normal after orgasms and can be painful. Story 4. Just because there is something you thought is your fetish doesn't mean you'll actually like doing them in practice. Some things just better stay as fantasies. Story 5. Toys are sold as novelty items, that way they don't have to be tested to make sure they are safe for use. Story 6. Brazil nut can be sexually transmitted. If you are allergic to Brazil nuts and have sex with somebody who just ate some, you might have an allergic reaction. To date, Brazil nuts are the only food allergen known to be sexually transmitted like any other STD. Story 7. Ejaculation in males typically happens at a speed of around 28 miles, 45 kilometers per hour. Story 8. Condoms kept in wallets for over a month are more likely to break. Story 9. The record for the most sexual partners in a 24 hours period is 919 men. Story 10. There is a reason a guy can get over arousal in 10 to 15 minutes, but a woman needs 30 to 40 minutes to get back to normal. A whole operation gets started if you get a lady aroused, not just the nipples hardening, guys get that too, but the entire birth canal stretches inward as the uterus pulls itself upward into the body to accommodate long objects, tampon, nis, finger baby. This whole vagina stretch is what makes ladies feel like, I need this to happen now, I'm all set, do it already. Coincidentally, this is also the reason men with a medium-sized nis think they are big when they have sex with their lady without any foreplay and their tip hits the cervix. It's not because you're long, it's because you didn't warm her up and her uterus hadn't moved up yet. Unaroused, the vagina is 2 to 4 inches deep. Aroused, it goes to 4 to 8 inches. Story 11. Virginia made a law July 1st where you have to prove your age to view pornography, so some sites like Pornhub chose not to verify people's ages and are now no longer accessible in Virginia. This has resulted in Virginia now leading the nation in Google searches for VPNs. Story 12. Tight pelvic floor muscles can cause burning, stinging feelings during attempts at penetration. If orgasms cause you to become constipated afterwards or have very thin ribbon-like stools, this can be due to changes in the pelvic floor muscles as well. If bowl stuff is a concern for you, experiment with getting a squatty potty and try to breathe like you're blowing up a balloon while you're pooping, breathing slowly through pursed lips, while trying not to strain or force your poop out. The pelvic floor likes to be relaxed. Peace. Both men and women have pelvic floor muscles. So again, if you think you have tight pelvic floor muscles, you should probably be assessed by a professional before doing routines involving Kegels. You don't want to make tight, weak muscles even tighter. If they're tight or strained or spasming, you want to relax them first. It's like, theoretically, trying to work out your arms and lift crazy weights when you've already had your bicep muscles constantly, as in without pause, flexed, activated, squeezed for days or weeks. Those muscles would be strained and weakened from continuous activation, and you'd be more likely to hurt yourself by adding further angry muscle exertion. Instead, you want to help those muscles stay relaxed and healthy before you try to work them out and make them stronger again. Story 13. A lot of young people incorrectly assume they are infertile because they've gotten away with having unprotected sex a few times without getting pregnant, getting someone pregnant. It's a stupid assumption, but it's incredibly common. Studies show that up to 20% of people under 30 believe they are infertile despite never seeing a doctor to confirm it. Story 14. My friend who's a psychologist once asked me, what's the most important part of sex and relationship? I got it wrong. She said it's what happens in the 10 minutes immediately afterwards. Story 15. Wash your fingernails after cutting peppers. Story 16. Having sex burns 4 calories a minute. Story 17. If you have sex without contraception, you can get pregnant. If you have sex with contraception, you can get pregnant. Story 18. When woman starts to like it and the man goes faster and faster. We like it at the pace you were doing it before. Story 19. Look up death from air embolism from sex. Basically trying to be all flexible during sex and lifting her pelvis too high while the guy penetrates the vagina can accidentally cause air embolism to be introduced to her body and can kill you instantly. Story 20. In a single kiss, lasting approximately 10 seconds, about 80 million bacteria can be transferred from mouth to mouth. Story 21. Grapefruit will counteract hormonal birth control. Story 22. If you read a book while fucking your partner, it makes you last longer. Story 23. Unless you have a good reason to be silent, don't be silent. Please, for the love of God, the quality of your sex, and the arousal of your partner, be expressive. Communicate. Let yourself fall into the sensations and the rhythm of the act in all its primal glory. You're already at least semi-nude with the person with whom you're about to slap genitalia. Modesty and self-consciousness are kinda moot by now. So please let go of your hang-ups and social mores and just be a primate copulating. Express yourself, your pleasure, and your desires freely with your partner. It will strengthen your bond and root you both firmly in being in the moment. Plus, it's fun hearing your partner respond to you when you're hitting it right and all that tension is building in your partner and their vocalizations change and grow more needful and hungry. That means you're doing it right. You'll both learn much more about how to please each other if you just relax and let your bodies communicate. Doesn't have to be words. As a personal aside, I have had a few partners who are quiet comers. I understand that not everyone is going to scream for heaven when they bust, but I never understood how a human being in the throes of orgasm could be quiet. Fuck, when I sim, I growl and groan and sometimes have to bury my face real fast because a good one will make me scream. To each their own. Seriously though, communicate. Story 24. Put a bag of popcorn in the microwave beforehand. That way, when you're done, you have a treat. Story 25. I've learned a concerning amount of adults don't know that precum can contain sperm and can result in pregnancy without ejaculation. It's why the pull-up method has such a significant failure rate. Story 26. You would be amazed how many guys think women only have 2 holes down there. Story 27. Second one for men. It changes everything. It's anything but one size fits all. You're welcome. Story 28. Most of the time it smells, and it smells strong. Regardless of whether you like the aroma or not, you should know that there will be many fluids which have a smell, not necessarily from diseases. These smells, although they can be very erotic, when impregnated in elements such as sheets or pillows, give a very particular odor. In any case, make sure to be as hygienic as possible before and after sex. Also, remember that these smells are natural, so don't feel bad and don't make anyone feel bad either. If the smell is stronger than it should be, gently say it to your partner, just in case. Story 29. Do you know what the human body goes through when you have sex? Pupils dilate, arteries constrict, core temperature rises, heart races, blood pressure skyrockets, respiration becomes rapid and shallow, the brain fires bursts of electrical impulses from nowhere to nowhere, and secretions spit out of every gland, and the muscles tense and spasm like you're lifting 3 times your body weight. It's violent, it's ugly, and it's messy. And if God hadn't made it unbelievably fun, the human race would have died out eons ago. Men are lucky they can only have 1 orgasm. You know that women can have an hour-long orgasm? Story 30. Many people are obsessed, or preoccupied at the least, with sex, but in the grand scheme of things, I've come to learn that there are other, more interesting and exciting parts of being human besides having sex with a partner. As for physical intimacy, I've had intimate encounters that didn't result in penetrative sex, that were at least as intense, arousing, and fulfilling as some of the better sex I've had. I learned in my 30s that when sex isn't necessarily the end goal and you are just focused on the moment, 2 people who share a strong connection can experience a feeling like electricity between them. With time, appropriate setting, and privacy, this can lead to very passionate kissing, necking, touching, rubbing, licking, as well as sharing sensual words and sounds, and intense eye contact. But it doesn't have to always lead to sex to be transcendent. Still, varying amounts of undress can heighten the experience. This is a good note to end on. Please write your stories in the comments. I'll be happy to add them to future videos. Also, you can rate our other videos. We would be very grateful. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.